May the blessings and peace of Allah be on him and them, has been preserved and transmitted from living person to living person in an unbroken chain of transmission right up until today. The Prophet Muhammad said that this transmission would continue until just before the end of time, when there will be no more Muslims left on the face of the earth. If you believe in Allah and wish to worship Allah in the manner which Allah has indicated that he should be worshipped through his prophets, then you must find out what is in the Quran and in the Hadith, and follow the way of Muhammad. That is the living life transaction of Islam. Right now, the choice is yours. Each of the 124,000 prophets who have been sent by Allah, may the blessings and peace of Allah be on all of them, were sent for specific people, and at a specific time in the history of mankind. Some were sent for only a few people, some were sent for a particular tribe, some were sent for a particular nation, and only one was sent for the whole world. Noah, for example, only had 19 followers at the time of the Great Flood, even though he lived for 950 years. Both Moses and Jesus were sent only for the tribe of Israel, so only Allah knows what the Jews who are not Jews, and the Christians who are not descended from the tribe of Israel, are up to today. Only the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, was sent with a guidance, a good news and a warning for all people and the jinn, from the time the Quran was revealed to him up until the end of the world. The times for all the prophets who came before the time of the Prophet Muhammad are now long over. The people for whom all the prophets who came before the Prophet Muhammad were sent are now long dead. The time for following the way of the Prophet Muhammad is now. The people for whom the Prophet Muhammad was sent have either died during the last 1400 years, or they are alive today, or they will live at some stage between now and the end of the world. The only way to follow the prophetic life pattern today is to follow the way of the Prophet Muhammad, may the blessings and peace of Allah be on him, and on his family, and on his companions, and all who follow him, because his way is the only prophetic life pattern which has survived intact up until today, and which will continue to survive up until the time immediately preceding the end of the world, when Allah will take the arwah, that is, the spirit forms, of all the Muslims who are alive at that time from this world, leaving only the people who will live like animals until the end of the world. The Prophet Muhammad, may the blessings and peace of Allah be on him, is the first and the last of the prophets. He was in existence when Adam was still between water and clay. He is the last of the prophets, the seal of the prophets, confirming by the Quran all the messages of the prophets before him, and thereby abrogating and completing those messages. The Qur'an contains all that the teachings of the earlier prophets contained, and more. The Quran is the final edition of the A to Z of existence, and its author, publisher, and distributor is Allah, the originator of all that appears to exist, and the one to whom all that appears to exist returns. Since the Prophet Muhammad was the embodiment of the Quran, that is, the Quran walking, he was the only complete and perfect man that existence has ever known. May the blessings and peace of Allah be on him, and he cannot be associated with Allah, because Allah is one, alone, without any partner. Allah was a hidden treasure, and he wished to make himself known, so he created the universe. When there was only Allah, before time and space began, Allah took a portion of his light, and said, "Be Muhammad." From this light of Muhammad all the source forms of everything that was ever to manifest, either in the unseen, or in the phenomenal world which is apprehended by the senses, were created. The first source form to be created was the source form of the man and prophet, Muhammad, may the blessings and peace of Allah be on him forever. Since that time, all the source forms created from the light of Muhammad by Allah have manifested, and continue to manifest, and will continue to manifest until the end of the world. In the unseen and in the phenomenal worlds, everything is made from the light of Muhammad. The light of Muhammad is from the light of Allah. Only Allah exists. Everything in the time and space continuum is an illusion, is not what it appears to be. Do not curse the time and space continuum, for it is Allah. Everywhere you look, there is the face of Allah. Everything is passing away except the face of Allah. Allah is as He was before the creation of the universe, and He continues to be. There is only Allah. Say, He is Allah the One, Allah the Everlasting. Nothing is born from Him, and He was not born from anything, and there is nothing like Him. Quran Surat Al-Ikhlas 112, 1-4. The reality of the prophets, may the blessings and peace of Allah be on them all, is that the next prophet only came when the teaching of the prophet before him had been lost. All the teachings of the prophets, except for the teaching of the Prophet Muhammad, have been lost. The Prophet Muhammad is the last of the prophets before the end of the world. If you wish to follow the way of the prophets, you have no choice but to follow the way of Muhammad. Right now, the choice is yours, and it is a very simple one to make, but a difficult one to put into practice. The Prophet Muhammad said that a time would come when to hold to the living life transaction of Islam would be like handling hot coals. That time has come. The people who control the kafir system, that is the Dajjal system, are making it difficult to hold to the living life transaction of Islam. This is a test from Allah. The more Allah loves someone, the more Allah tests them. No one was tested as much as the Prophet Muhammad, may the blessings and peace of Allah be on him. Because no one has been loved as much by Allah as the Prophet Muhammad. The reality of the prophets is that they were all from Allah, and they all brought the same message, because there is only one Allah to know and affirm. And because the nature of existence, which derives from Allah, has always been essentially the same. This means that there is no competition between the prophets, because they all affirmed one and the same reality, Allah. In the same way there is no competition between the Awliya, because there is only Allah, and they know it with direct seeing. The knowledge, the knower, and the known are one. The Muslims are the only ones who recognize this. This is why only the Muslims accept all the prophets, and make no distinction between them. All 124,000 of them. There is no way to worship Allah, as Allah has indicated, He should be worshipped, except by following the way of Muhammad, may the blessings and peace of Allah be on him. Only by following the way of Muhammad, will you be able to affirm the true nature of existence, and understand it, and know yourself, and truly, whoever knows their self knows their Lord. The whole universe cannot contain Allah, but the heart of the one who trusts in Allah contains Allah, and the way to your heart is the way of Muhammad. May the blessings and peace of Allah be on him. Either you are for the kafir system, that is, the Dajjal system, or you are against it. If you are against it, then you are for the way of Islam. If you are not against the way of Islam, and you must find out what it really is. Because it certainly is not what the educational and media systems depict it to be, then you are for the way of Islam. No one can take you to Islam, and no one can take you away from Islam. Allah is in the expectation of His slave, and we are all slaves of Allah, and deep down we all know that, because when Allah had created the source forms from the light of Muhammad, He said to all the arwah, that is, the spirit forms, of all the people who would ever come into and go are of existence, am I not your Lord? Alastu bi rabbikum? And they all answered, yes, we bear witness. Bala Shahidna. This question and this answer resonate in the heart of every human being. Deep down in the heart, whoever is mu'min remembers this, whilst whoever is kafir covers it up and pretends that it did not happen. The only way to realize the full extent of your being a slave of Allah, and this means that you will not be a slave of anything or anyone, or any idea which or who appears to be other then Allah, is to follow the way of Muhammad, who was the perfect slave of Allah. He, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, was so pure that he cast no shadow when he walked in the sunlight. When he laughed, light bounced off the walls. His sweat smelled of musk. He was immersed in remembrance of Allah in every moment. He was always in complete abasement before Allah. He was a complete and perfect man, and therefore his way is the best of ways. There is no better example of how to be a human being than him. Ask yourself now the questions which you will be asked later, after your death. Who do you worship? Who do you follow? What is your source of knowledge? What is your way of life? Right now, the choice is yours. What is your way of life? Right now, the choice is yours. It is not known for certain exactly when Dajjal the individual is going to appear. It is not known for certain exactly when the Mahdi, the rightly guided leader of the Muslims, who walks in the footsteps of the Prophet Muhammad, may the blessings and peace of Allah be on him, is going to appear. It has been stated by some of the Awliya of the present age that both the Dajjal and the Mahdi are alive and on this earth, which would appear to indicate that the time when they finally meet cannot be all that far away, which in turn would appear to indicate that the second coming of Jesus, peace be on him, is also imminent, but only Allah knows for certain when that time will be. They may appear in your lifetime, they may not. What we do know is that in the end, there are only two basic ways of living while you are here on this earth. Either you follow the way of Kufr, or you follow the way of Islam. From Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet, may Allah bless him, and grant him peace, said, "The prophets are like brothers. They have different mothers, but their life transaction is one. I am the closest of all the people to Jesus, son of Mary, because there is no other prophet between him and myself. He will come again, and when you see him, you will recognize him. He is of medium height, and his coloring is reddish-white. He will be wearing 2 garments, and his hair will look wet. He will break the cross, kill the pigs, abolish the jizya, and call the people to Islam. During his time, Allah will end every religion and sect other than Islam, and will destroy the Dajjal. Then peace and security will prevail on earth, so that lions will graze with camels, tigers with cattle, and wolves with sheep. Children will be able to play with snakes without coming to any harm. Jesus will remain for 40 years, then die, and the Muslims will pray for him." It was related by Ibn Hanbal. From An-Nuwas ibn Salman, may Allah be pleased with him. One morning the Prophet, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, spoke about the Dajjal. Sometimes he described him as insignificant, and sometimes he described him as so dangerous that we thought he was in the clump of date palms nearby. When we went to him later on, he noticed that fear in our faces, and asked, "What is the matter with you?" We said, "O Messenger of Allah, this morning you spoke of the Dajjal. Sometimes you described him as insignificant, and sometimes you described him as being so dangerous that we thought he was in the clump of date palms nearby." The Prophet, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, said, "I fear for you in other matters besides the Dajjal. If he appears whilst I am among you, I will contend with him on your behalf. But if he appears while I am not among you, then each man must contend with him on his own behalf, and Allah will take care of every Muslim on my behalf. The Dajjal will be a young man, with short, curly hair, and one eye floating. I would liken him to Abdul Uzza ibn Khaytan. Whoever amongst you lives to see him, should recite the opening ayat of Surat al-Kahf. He will appear on the way between Syria and Iraq, and will create disaster left and right. O servants of Allah, adhere to the path of truth." We said, "O Messenger of Allah, for the day which is like a year, will one day's prayers be sufficient?" He said, "No, you must make an estimate of the time, and then observe the prayers." We asked, "O Messenger of Allah, how quickly will he walk upon the earth?" He said, "Like a cloud driven by the wind. He will come to the people and call them to a false religion, and they will believe in him and respond to him. He will issue a command to the sky, and it will rain, and to the earth, and it will produce crops. After grazing on these crops, their animals will return with their udders full of milk and their fangs stretched. Then he will come to another people, and will call them to a false religion, but they will reject his call. He will depart from them, they will suffer famine, and will possess nothing in the form of wealth. Then he will pass through the wasteland and will say, Bring forth your treasures, and the treasures will come forth, like swarms of bees. Then he will call a man brimming with youth. He will strike him with a sword, and cut him in two. Then place the two pieces at the distance between an archer and his target. Then he will call him, and the young man will come running and laughing. At that point, Allah will send the Messiah, son of Mary, and he will descend to the white minaret in the east of Damascus, wearing two garments dyed with saffron, placing his hands on the wings of two angels. When he lowers his head, beads of perspiration will fall from it, and when he raises his head, beads like pearls will scatter from it. Every kafir who smells his fragrance will die, and his breath will reach as far as he can see. He will search for the Dajjal until he finds him at the gate of Lud, the biblical Lydda, now known as Lod, where he will kill him. Then a people whom Allah has protected will come to Jesus, son of Mary, and he will wipe their faces. I wipe the traces of hardship from their faces, and tell them of their status in paradise. At that time Allah will reveal to Jesus, I have brought forth some of my servants, whom no one will be able to fight. Take my servants safely to At-Tor. Then Allah will send Gog and Magog, and they will swarm down from every slope. The first of them will pass by the lake of Tiberias and will drink some of its water. The last of them will pass by it and say, there used to be water here. Jesus, the prophet of Allah, and his companions will be besieged until a bull's head will be dearer to them than 100 dinars are to you nowadays. Then Jesus and his companions will pray to Allah, and he will send insects who will bite the people of Gog and Magog on their necks, so that in the morning they will all perish as one. Then Jesus and his companions will come down, and will not find any nook or cranny on earth, which is free from their putrid stench. Jesus and his companions will again pray to Allah, who will send birds like the necks of camels. They will seize the bodies of Gog and Magog, and throw them wherever Allah wills.